Okay, today we're going to try to put the green onions, the leeks, the red onion, and the white onions, which these are sweet Spanish, red, and then the bunching green onions. Out in the greenhouse, the carrots were meant to be planted out there, but it's raining today, so I'm not going to be able to do them today. I wish I could have got out there earlier today and got them in the ground so they could be benefiting from the rain. But I'm going to go ahead and try to get the green onions, the leeks, the red onions, and the white onions out in the greenhouse, which is why I weeded the couple of rows I did the other day. Okay, I already had a small flat bed out here of onions. I had some white onions on this side over here, and I had red onions on that side over there. Now I poured some water from the fish tank over the ground here, actually from the radial flow filter, to act as fertilizer over the ground here the other day when I was out here when I was weeding these first 3 rows. The rest of it still needs to be weeded. Like I said, it got really bad during the month. I was out of commission, a little over a week in the hospital, and then the rest of it just sick and recovering. But some things are looking really good. I mean, the strawberries are looking great. They got blooms on them and a couple of berries hiding off back here trying to get going. So I'm happy with that, but now I've got to try and get something going in these 3 rows to get these onions and leeks in the ground. So I'm going to probably plant the white onions in this bed. From about this point back, it's onions white onions and red onions mixed in there, and from that point that way it's all more of the bunching green onions, which I can go ahead and they can be planted kind of close, so I'll just go ahead and scatter a few mixed in there and go ahead and plant the green onions here. I don't think I had that many more. And then I'll probably just go ahead and plant this area out with the white onions, maybe do the red, flatten that row out, spread it out a little bit, red onions there, and leeks in that other row, and just see how far I make it. But onions are pretty easy to plant. I've just got to get them out of this container, which the thing I like about these containers is you can just tear them up when you're done with them. These came from a fast food service or fast food restaurant that sells chicken fingers, and whenever the wife will go and get a box of like 20 chicken fingers, and they give you like 4 sauces with that much, and what they do is they put 4 of the little cups of sauce in one of these sandwich styrofoam bins and hand it to you so you can carry the 4 sauces easier. So I save the sandwich containers because they've never been used. They're perfectly clean, and I use them for stuff like this, for starting plants and storing things in and whatnot, or for putting sandwiches in. But basically with the onions, all you have to do is separate them out. As long as they've got a little bit of root, they will grow. And with the onions, you want them about 1 inch in the ground with all the roots in the ground. So I basically just took a finger and drug it through to make an 1 inch deep hole, put the roots in, and then you just fill it back in. And then you move over, give them about 6 inches of space, plant another one, and just keep going like that. Onions are really easy to do, and once you break these containers open, it's real easy to separate the plants out. And I can just take this dirt and throw it on top of the beds and just keep working on pulling the onions out and planting them. So it's really easy to do. Like I said, with these containers, the benefit of being able to just tear them apart like that is that it makes it really easy to get excess dirt out of the way and separate the plants. Once you can start just digging the dirt away from the sides, it's really easy to just pull the plants on out. So let me get busy with this. And the red onions you plant the same way, the white or the green onions you plant the same way. Leeks are a little bit different, so when I get to the leeks, I'll turn the video back on. Okay, the way it worked out was I got my white onions on that side, just like they were before. Some of the red onions on this side, all the green onions up in the green onion area up here, which the green onions appear to have survived much better without water. So, and then over here I had 6 more red onions left, so I stuck them in just that little small area behind. You see these wood shavings here, there's a drip that comes off of the rail right there. Especially when I have the sprinkler system on in here, the mister on, and it tends to wash it out a little bit, as you can see, like right in that area there. So I put some wood chips in there every now and then to keep it filled up and to try to help prevent the water from washing the row out too bad. So, but there was enough area back there. I had 6 red onions left. There was just enough area for me to plant those 6 without overcrowding them. So that's taken care of. Now I'm going to continue on. You can see where I was widening the bed out here. Instead of having just a peaked row, a humped up row, you want a flat row for planting onions and leeks and stuff like of that nature in. So I'm going to continue flattening this row out to plant the leeks, and then what I'll do is I'll dig a trench 6 inches deep, put the leek in it, cover about the first 3 inches of the leek up, and then wait a couple of weeks or however long it takes for the leeks to about double in size, and then you continue filling the soil in until you've got at least 6 inches of leek underground. That way you wind up with a much more usable portion of the leek than you would if you just stuck it in the ground an inch deep and walked away. You'd only have that much of it that was white and compact and was really usable. The rest would be the greens up top that aren't as usable. They don't have the flavor, not as compact. So you want the white section, and all that's going to be is what's underground. So that's why you dig the trench and spend the time burying them a little at a time until you get it to the depth you want them. You can actually dig your trench 6 inches down, plant the leeks in it, you know, fill it halfway, wait a few weeks, fill it the rest of the way, wait a few weeks, and then mound it up, the dirt up a couple more inches up the leeks. So instead of a 6-inch section of leek that's usable, you get an 8-inch section. Just depends on how much time you want to put into it, how much you expect to get out of your leeks, and so forth. I just want them for stir fry and a little bit for soup. So it'll be the first time I've actually tried growing them in the ground. And so we'll just have to wait and see how they turn out. Hey, I forgot to film any while I was doing it, but as you can see, the leeks are in a little trench here. They're buried about 3 inches. I mounded the majority of the dirt that was left in the center of the 2 rows of leeks that I have, so that once these grow up a little taller, I'll divide that mound and split it between the 2 rows to bury them a little bit deeper. Trying to get at least 6 inches on them. So, but that's how they wind up. I'll wind up with just enough left for 2 rows, which isn't many. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. 19. So 19 leeks. But the interesting part was this one little carrot that wound up over in with the leeks. I mean, and this carrot is pretty tall. I mean, the green part is probably just over 1 foot tall. Then you got the little bitty carrot that was forming down in there. So I probably could have grown carrots inside in container. But you can see where it was starting to bend at the base because it was hitting the bottom of that little tray that it was buried in. And if you look at the roots that are hanging down from it, those fine little roots, just to show how root bound it was and how root bound the carrots in that other little tray in there must be. Here, just I'll try to stretch it out as far as I can. There's about 20 inches of roots hanging down off that one little bitty carrot up there. So I'm probably going to bury it right here at the end of this row of leeks. Just leave this one guy out here. I don't know, I might bring the other carrots out and plant them in this row, but this soil hasn't been doing the best in the world, and I'm not sure how much fertilizer I'm going to get out of the radial flow system, which the good thing about the leeks is I've got nice little trenches I can pour it in so it doesn't run off as much. More of it will get to the actual plants. But I might try putting the carrots, some of the carrots anyway, out here in a couple of rows out here and see what happens with them. But once I get this one done, I'm done for the day. I'm going to go ahead and turn the sprinkler system on. I'm going to I did break off a lot of the greenery on the onions as I was going. So I'm going to take the ones that I broke off, or pinched off because they were already broken rather, and give them to the rabbit and get my little pieces of styrofoam cleaned up and dealt with and call it a day.